Welcome back to Beyond the Four Walls. In our last episode, we looked at a sustainable hero with David Chris. Today, we're shifting our focus to a man who serves our community in two of its most vital places, the fire station and the church. Jake Latson is a veteran firefighter, a pastor at 242 Community Church, and a man that I'm proud to call a friend.
Yeah, buddy.
I first met Jake at 242, and then I walked into the Better Man program looking for a way to sharpen my own life. But before he was a pastor and a mentor to me, he was and still is a man on the front lines. Jake, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, buddy.
I'm really excited today.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit before about what this was about, what I am trying to bring here with this podcast. And so just having you on the show is just really excited for me. So why don't we start from the beginning and let's just talk a little bit about you and what drew you into being a first responder, and just give a little history of yourself.
Yeah, so no grand story, no grand call, or I felt led to it. I literally kind of stumbled into it. So growing up throughout high school, I wasn't very engaged in school. School wasn't a priority. And because of that thought process, I barely graduated high school. Okay. So yeah, my plan throughout school was always, hey, school's not important. I'm going to be a construction worker. It pays X amount of dollars. I can support a family. That's the way I'm going. That's the route I'm going to take. So once I got out of school and started doing that, probably 2 years into it, I remember thinking like, I'm not digging holes for the rest of my life. And then it was almost a panic of like, what can I do? Like, what doesn't require a 4-year degree? Because again, I was never a school guy or a grades guy by any means. So what does that? And it was looking at police officer, firefighter, something my dad always instilled in me, like growing up. It was important to make enough money to provide for your family, but think about services that are always going to be there. Like someone will always need what it is that you do every day. And started looking at the fire department and applying locally, Howell, Brighton around here, and got in with Brighton and soon figured out like you start to feel the call, the brotherhood, the importance of it. I think at that time in my life, it gave me a lot of significance and purpose of like, this is what I'm doing. And through that process, I always say, like, Jesus ultimately changed my life, but the fire service showed me what I could do that I didn't even realize I was capable of. I remember several points being like, dude, you're going to go into a burning building like you can do it. And once you started to practice it, and guys, especially at the fire service that I looked up to, would speak into my life, be like, dude, you're good at this. I remember being like, holy cow, I can do this. And then seeing the scenes and the stuff that you've got to manage, I think I realized like you can do hard things and you can be good at it too. So that was, I think that dramatically changed my confidence and just overall look at myself and what I could do, because I did not have a high view or opinion of myself and capabilities, and super insecure. Speech class, it was supposed to be, I think, like our sophomore year, 6 months. I was so petrified to get in front of people that I never went, and I didn't go through that until like my senior year, just because that fear of like, people are looking at me. What are they? I got to talk to them. Like I was that insecure. So the fire service really dramatically changed my view of myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year did you start in fire?
2000. So
Okay.
2000 is when I went through Fire 1 and 2. I got hired at Brighton as a paid-on-call / volunteer, whatever you want to call it. But the nice thing with them, again, with not having any money at 20 years old, was they paid for your training. They paid for like your initial medical classes. And then you owed back to them, like, I don't remember, it was 2 or 3 years, where you had to stay employed by them. But that was a great way to get training, it's paid for, and then get exposed to it to be like, can I do this?
Right.
Like, is this something that interests me? Because it was still very much like, I don't know. But as the years went by, it was phenomenal. Yeah, I love I quickly fell in love with it. Yep.
When I think about years when I applied in Detroit in '93, and I knew that I wanted something that had security and stability.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And I grew up really poor, and I didn't have that in my life. My dad died when I was very young, and so we didn't have the security and stability. And so I knew I wanted something that was secure and stable.
Yep.
And I really wanted to be an engineer. That didn't work out. But then, I mean, when you look back in 2008, where I was still working, and there were a lot of engineers that were out without a job.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
A lot of engineers.
Oh, yeah.
And so going into service, I wanted to go into service as well, but knowing security and stability.
Yeah.
And especially once I left Detroit, that's when I really found out, wow, here's the money. I mean, I started in Detroit in '94, and I was making $10.13 an hour.
Jeez.
Getting shot at, just chasing people.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow. It's dramatic what changes as you grow older, and it's what becomes important.
Well, and you look at the money now that we are making as a first responder or frontline worker. I mean, even in the military, just the money that we're finally starting to make.
Yeah.
So when we've talked a little bit about what this 5 pillars are, right? That this podcast is about: the spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial. We've had some conversations about who you were when you started.
Oh, yeah.
And what this job has brought in your life to you.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I sat down with Scott Taylor, and he talked about that backpack that you carry, and you throw those every day. You go to work, and you throw those different things that go on the job, and you just put it in the backpack, and you don't let it go, and you don't release.
Yeah.
And so you talked about a little bit when we talked a few weeks ago, and I'd like you to get into who you were. You were this strong man young man, and where you are now, and just give a little bit of stories, a few stories of what has gone on, and then where you've come to right now of who you are.
Yeah, I think growth. I think overall as a man, through those years of coming in, not understanding, I think what I was capable of, and I don't mean that like arrogantly or like I can do anything, like, but just more of like the hard tasks and things that we can walk through. Understanding when you see things that are heavy, like you said, things that get thrown in the backpack and they carry around with you, that how to deal with those, I think, has been tremendous. I think in my life it's affected, it's not just but affected fatherhood, how I parent, how I communicate and talk with people, understanding that more, I think kind of has prepared me through life. And there's been a big change, I'm sure, in police service. It's been the same, but like just the mantra of being able to talk about those things and work through them has changed quite a bit. But just I think with it affecting my confidence by doing hard things I didn't realize I could do, it's affected every area of my life for the positive that I can. Tough situations with my kids, tough situations with my ex-wife, handling conflict, I think just in relationships in general. That's been the beauty of it is it used to be just within the fire service, and it was almost, that was like a piece of my life that was separate from being a dad at home or being a pastor at church or whatever, but it's really prepared me in a very good way of being able to do all these other things in the healthiest way I can try. It's not always healthy, but yeah, it's prepared me really well for life in general. Once I realized those things could intersect,
Did you have men on the job that helped you understand what it was like to keep the job at the job and going home, or was that learning? And obviously, if you made the mistakes and figuring that out, like, how long did it take, or were you able to balance that right away? Or
Not right away. Yeah. So I was fortunate to have very family oriented guys around me. Like
Okay.
kids were important. The wife was important. Talking about that, seeing that, how they lived.
right,
Like you could see it, knew that was important, but drawing that line in between work and how you have to behave and act at work
Right.
to get things done or to handle a situation that is traumatic for the people that you're with. Like you're there to make the situation better. Like I always look at it, there's a problem.
right,
I'm called to fix this problem. And so the way I handle that at work to fix the problem, I've always always has bled over at home. And there was probably a 10-year period to where, again, coming home and hearing a problem from my wife at the time, and well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's fixed. Like we got to do this, this, and this. And I mean, she never felt heard. She didn't feel, because I was very like fix the problem, solution oriented. My kids, I can remember coming home and like giving orders. It doesn't work the best for being
No.
a dad at all.
No.
So I got to the point, I think once I realized that, and through conversation with my wife, I can remember coming home and it was just this stupid symbolic thing I did. As I'm coming in the house from the garage, I remember being like, take off your fireman hat, put on your dad hat. And something would click for me to be like, you're not at work anymore. You don't have to be in that mode anymore. Almost let your guard down.
right,
You know, you're not on edge. I can remember coming home and just feeling constantly, when you would first start, it was always, okay, the bell could go off. What am I going to face? What if it's a kid who's passed away? How are you going to handle that? And you were always on edge, like
Right.
trying to be good
right,
for what could come. Just, I think, because I was new and I didn't want to mess up. But that went on for years. But I would come home and just be like on edge and be like, dude, why are you so like anxiety ridden right now? So when a stimulus would come, it would be like, rah, or back at them. So I had to learn to like, you're not being a fireman. You're done on shift. You're home. Change your mindset, because I can't operate as I would at work at home and not have it be destructive. And it was destructive for a while.
right.
Yeah.
I bring this up a couple of times. I worked midnights
Yep.
for quite a few years.
Bless your heart.
The statement I always make is, for every
Yeah.
1 year of midnights is one less year you will live on this earth.
Yeah.
I mean, and I had gotten promoted. I was off midnights for a little while. I was promoted, and then I got back on midnights. And I had, as a sergeant, and I had came downstairs, and my girlfriend was at the house at the time, and my boys were downstairs in the kitchen where she was at, and I walked downstairs, and I got my sleep. I got 5 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
and I came downstairs, and my 22-year-old son looked at me and said, "Oh, asshole dad's back."
Yeah. Be like, that's a stark wake up, huh?
And
Yep.
it's all of those realizations of, you're right. I did take that job home with me.
Oh, yeah.
And it took me a lot longer. And I believe that so many of us, it takes a lot longer to figure out. And so many times we burn the building down
Yep.
before we recognize, wait a minute,
Oh, yeah.
we didn't do what we need to do.
Yeah.
And it's so important that our family is so, us and our family are so important, and but yet we serve, but then we go home and we don't serve them as the father, as the husband that we're supposed to
Yeah.
be, that God
Yep.
tells us that we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Understanding like the cultures in the firehouse,
Yep.
over home, and even at the church, right? Like, I mean, you went you had the 4 walls of protection that I talk about at the firehouse, where you're all living the same hell.
Yep.
You're all living the same trauma, the same everything. You're living that, and you're with your brothers and sisters more than you're with your family.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the time that you're spending and that four walls of protection. Then in your life, you leave that, you come home, and now you're in the role of being a pastor. Mm-hmm. And there's a four walls of protection at church that people come to. Mm-hmm. What do you see? What do you see different or even the same in what we've talked about, these four walls of protection, for you to leave the firehouse and now be at the church? I mean, the responsibilities are there, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're still serving. You're a pastor. Yep. And so can you talk a little bit about that, with your growth as a man and as a pastor being in the church?
Yeah, I think the biggest change in that is like coming into traumatic situations. People are dealing with death, loss, financial struggles, whatever it may be. I was very comfortable having those conversations because that's very much like a part of the fire service. Like that's what you do. So there wasn't an awkwardness of showing up to somebody's hospital bed and they were dying and be like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know how to act. Like, what does this look like? I've done it, and I've had those conversations, but it transitioned from, again, fixing the problem. And then I went away and didn't have to think about it, deal with it anymore. And I say deal with it, but like a prolonged care for somebody, that was much different. Much. Again, at church, you knew the people and you were walking with them. It wasn't show up, fix the problem, and then you go back to the fire station and they go about their lives. This was patience and like long-term care for people. So that was kind of a flip of the switch to try to realize that. That helped bring, I think, a little less stress to my life again, because it wasn't, man, the problem's not fixed. Like, I want to fix. And that's the total opposite of how you got to pastorally work with people. Is you're not there to fix their problem. You're here to help them get through it, right? And walk with them. So the church has always been really good as far as like those four walls of like going back to the fire station. You've got your buddies that you can joke with, or that understand what you were going through or dealing with, or the stress. So there's those outlets. It's very much the same at church. Like, again, having pastors that understand that you can talk with, or, hey, this was a super heavy conversation, counseling if we need it. I can't remember. They pay, I think, for 6 sessions a year or something if you need them, like out of pocket. So like the help is there if you need it to be able to process that. But between the two, it's the balance for myself personally of like, again, I found myself coming home from church saying things to my kids like, I'm mentally drained. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. You got, like, I need a minute. And it's like, no, if I'm coming home in that state, I've got to be better at balancing it.
It was the same thing as taking the fire hat off. Yeah. You also had to take the church hat off too, and be what you needed to be.
Yeah, and remember, like, again, what's the most important? Right. It's them, and like I think we all know that, but like stopping and being like balancing your life to where I'm not coming home on E. Right. You know what I mean? To where I can, they're the most important. So I've got to make them that priority on there, and not, I didn't have it so much with the church at all, but I know like with the fire service, I had to examine like coming home. That was my identity. Like that's who I was, a firefighter. So I carried that everywhere, and that's not going to work well. No. So like coming home and trying to be, it's almost, I replaced that with, I would say Jesus for a while. Like that's what filled me. That was my purpose. That's why I lived. That's why I existed. And I was falling right in line with a lot of the other guys feeling at the fire station of like, this is their purpose, their existence. So when that goes away, I'm sure you guys know who have retired too. There's guys that get like they're lost.
And
I remember seeing that and being like, I'm going to feel that, but I don't want it to be this devastating thing because, again, the true thing that gives me purpose is not the fire service for any job. It's him.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
Correct. Well, and we often see it. We talk about it that do you have a purpose?
Yeah, bigger than this.
Bigger than the job. And I mean, thankfully for me, when I decided to retire, I had always done real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That was my jam. That's what I've always done.
Oh, yeah.
And so all I did is I transitioned into, okay, I really want to start concentrating on serving in real estate, the first responders, the heroes community, the frontline workers in the military.
Yeah.
But I had something to do.
Yeah.
And because we live this identity, I mean, I think about it when you first start on as a policeman. I mean, as a fireman, I think every new fireman gets a red truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, just
you have to do that.
Yes. But as a policeman, you always know the new guys because when they're off duty, they're walking around with 2 guns, 5 magazines, handcuffs, and pepper spray off duty. And you're like,
oh man,
where are you going?
Yeah.
What do you do? And they always have the shirts, you know, that know, like that right there, that's a cop.
Yeah.
That right there, there's a fireman. And so that's your identity. Then when you leave and you retire and they give you this pension and health care and say, you know, you started strong.
Yep.
I mean, you were strong, you were the man.
Oh, yeah.
But in so many ways, are we preparing ourselves in those 5 pillars of emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, and financial to get ready to transition into a civilian life?
Yeah.
For most people, it's not service.
No.
You know, where you are still a firefighter where you're serving, but you're also serving in the church.
Yeah.
And so that's why people will walk out of these jobs and they don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
And then they start getting depressed.
Yeah.
And because now what do I do when I grow up? Right?
yeah.
We were babies when we started.
Yeah.
And the numbers if you go to the National Fraternal Order of Police, you will see the numbers on the suicides for retirees.
Yeah. I'm sure it's huge.
We forget about the retirees.
Yep.
We have the peer support programs for, and it's growing for the first responders and the frontline workers in the military. But when you retire, we're not looking out for those guys.
Yeah, no.
We're not, you know.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think about is when you're at the firehouse or at the police station, like you're with these guys all the time, you knew when they were having problems. You knew that guy.
Oh, yeah.
And so you were always looking out, hey, what's going on? And it's gotten better. I was talking with Scotty Taylor, and he said, you know, this generation of kids are more touchy-feely
Big
than
time.
in the past.
Yeah.
You know,
probably a good thing.
It's probably a good, you know, I talk about, like, everybody laughs at you know, Charlie, because I love hugs.
Yeah.
I love some hugs. Give me some love.
Yeah.
But overall, we didn't talk about things. We didn't learn how to take care of each other and look out for each other and release.
Yeah.
When they started these peer support programs in the police stations and the firehouse, and just started to put people in circles and letting them talk and look at each other, the release
huge.
is huge.
Huge, yeah.
And so that's something I was talking with Matt Callis about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had known each other a little bit at 242.
Yeah.
But then the Better Man program started that you brought in, you and I believe Matt, like the church brought in for the men. And I want to get into that a little bit with the Better Man. But what I noticed in that stuck out the most to me is the round tables.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We didn't just walk in and like that was symbolic for me.
Yeah.
Like the rectangular tables, when you sit, it's not the same.
Yeah. No.
When you put those round tables for everybody to sit as a group,
Yeah.
the 4 to 6 to 8 people, and you talk
Yeah.
and you let people hear your heart and let them know what you're going through, and you're able to look in each other's eyes.
Yeah.
It was powerful.
Oh, yeah.
It just, wow, it was powerful.
Yeah.
So moving a little bit into Better Man, men need other men to have their back, but also to tell them when they're off base.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
And especially getting into even the retirees, but just we don't look out for each other. Mm-mm. And so what I found with this Better Man is there's accountability in masculinity, in being everything that we are supposed to be as a man biblically, that God tells us to be. For us, for our family, for society. So just give me a little bit of information on where Better Man came from and what really sticks out in the church, like you serving at the church and what that has done for you. And
So our good friend, Dr. Chris Harper, is the CEO of Better Man. So they're out of Dallas. The exact history, I don't remember. So it started years ago by another doctor. So his name slips my mind right now, but it evolved into what it is now, to where Harp, we affectionately call him, took it over. But they're 11-week programs that cover the 4 W's of Better Man. So real man protection, might have to help me with this. God's woman betters his world. And I'm brain farting it too already.
so am I.
There's 2 more W's.
Matt, where are you?
Matt, where are you right now, buddy? But it gives, I think one of my favorite sayings that I've heard him say, Harp, is if something isn't clearly defined, the abuse of that thing is inevitable. If we don't know what we are, we're going to start abusing it because we don't know.
Right.
We're going to grasp at what we think manhood is. And again, you think about the world that we live in and all the inputs on what a man shouldn't be, what's toxic and what's not, and do women really need to be protected? I mean, all of the things. When I say that, it's a man we have to work through. So having that definition of what that looks like gives us a goal of what we're intended to be. You know, again, we're created beings.
Right.
So this is what you were created to do. And to me, that even goes back to that purpose. Here's my purpose, regardless of my job, regardless of my occupation, regardless of my hobbies. Like, this is what I'm intended to be. So I think, especially in this day and age, like being able to lay that out for guys is massive. We talk about all the time in Better Man, like definitions of what a man is, the absence of guys' fathers in their lives, or even the presence of guys' fathers in their lives to where they were really absent.
Right.
And like not needing. One of the most profound things that we continually hear is like, no one's ever told me what a man's supposed to be. And again, what isn't clearly defined, the abuse of that thing's inevitable. And you look at, I'll look at my own life to start with. When I haven't been defined by those areas, boy, have I messed stuff up. Boy, have things been abused based off of my decisions and my behaviors, trying to be something that I wasn't. Coming home and being a fireman doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't work with that. So that's evolved and given a place for men, I think, to come. And you hit on it really well, Charlie. I think the most powerful aspect of the program through those 11 weeks is that table time. There's value in coming to church or value in coming to hear somebody speak for 45 to 50 minutes, but the impact that has versus somebody speaking for 20 minutes and then turning it over to tables are huge. And I think the biggest barrier that's probably broke for guys around those tables are, Charlie, you deal with that too? Wait a second, that thing that I'm struggling with, you're facing the same thing. Oh, and Bob is too. Oh, and Jeff over here's used to deal with alcohol too. We're like, we all battle the same stuff.
Right.
But especially I think when we come to church, it's so easy to put on the church mask because it's church.
Right.
And you want to look like you have things together and you want to be, and I understand all that, but like if we can get that to drop and have that authenticity of men being authentic with each other, that yes, we can still follow Jesus and this crazy thing is happening in my life, or how do I get better at, man, I keep yelling at my wife, right? My kids are out of control and I don't, boy, mine are too. And for like me to share like, hey, I'm a pastor, let me tell you about my life and
right,
all the things that, so we can follow Jesus and it's not perfect. The point of it is that is never like I can follow him as a man and everything's perfect. No, it's about, so that community aspect, that's the glue that holds that thing together. And the amount of like hunger, like from guys coming back, I need more.
Yes.
Jake, what's next?
Yes.
Jake, what are we I mean, almost to where it's like, holy moly, like, okay, we got to plan over. I mean, it's all good problems to have, but that response of like, I need this has been, it's still mind blowing to that. And again, I think it's just because of that, not just, but it's something as simple as definition and community. Like we're all in the same boat together, man. There's nobody, you know, one of my favorite Bible verses is you are not tempted. What you're facing is not uncommon to everybody else.
Right.
Like we're all dealing with the same stuff. So if we can drop that wall and connect, and then again, when I'm coming to church, like, you know me.
Yes.
It's not, hey, Charlie, what's going on? Or, hey, man, how are you, dude?
Right.
It's like we know about each other's lives, and, and that invites more connection, and that is the secret sauce, so to speak, I think, to the whole thing is something that basic is authenticity, but it provides that avenue to allow that in a really positive way. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that really stood out for me is my dad died when I was 5.
Yeah.
And so we've talked a little bit and just getting into the depths of me not having a great childhood.
Yeah.
And I remember as I got older, I was always seeking and looking for men that could give me good advice. And I had a grandfather that was there, and he was in the church, and there was an amazing man in my life. His name's Pastor Mark Moore, and he passed away a few years ago. But I had men like that. Keith Anleitner was a good man, a godly man that was there. But I didn't have somebody in my house to show me how to be a father, how to be a husband. And so I figured it out going through it. And you're going to fail. Every time you're going to fail.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I remember asking buddies like, hey, what did you do? What did your dad do with this regarding you? Like, as a father, I didn't know, you know? And so what has just stuck out for me with Better Man is when I did the 6-week and then we did the conference, going into the 12-week, I was like, what am I going to get out of this? And what I found when I sat down at that table, first of all, we all go through the same things. And I had asked God, I said, why am I going to this 12-week? And when we sat down at our individual table of 8, there were these 2 young men. And they were both 16. Oh, I think one was 17. And I felt the Holy Spirit go, that's why you're here today.
Heck yeah, man.
That's why you're here. You know, and so
what you went through, here's 2 people that you can help. Isn't that cool?
And we've all we all go through, we all have the same traumas. We all, I mean, not one person has worse than the other. And I was talking with my best friend Dave Chris last week, and asking him, like, how did you go through things?
Yeah.
How did you deal with things in the career? And one of the things that stood out for me is I call him my sustainable hero.
Yeah, buddy.
He's my friend, but he's that sustainable hero that was in law enforcement for 25 years. But he had an amazing father that taught him, that he looked up to, and it taught him how to be a great husband, a great father, a great friend. And so he was able to use all of those tools that his father and mother gave him and going into the job. Not that he didn't have still rocks in that backpack that he still has to deal with, but he was able to handle those a little bit differently. And he realized very new in his career that how I take this home, I'm going to make sure to take that police cap off, where it took me many, many years to do that. And so before I ask you a question, we're going to pause for a second.
Today's episode is brought to you by Valor Collective. In the Heroes community, among our military first responders and frontline workers, trust isn't just a word, it's a lifeline. It's earned through action and proven in the trenches. When you're ready to make a move, you don't just need a real estate agent. You need a team that operates by the same code you live by. Valor Collective was built on that foundation of integrity and grit. They understand that for you, a home isn't just a transaction. It's the rally point for your family and the one place you can finally decompress. They've got your back because they've walked the path. Valor Collective, built on honor, driven by results. Your move is our mission.
Still going with Better Man a little bit, why do men and women in the Heroes community, in the eyes of the public, often feel like they're struggling behind closed doors?
I would say probably... Well, I'll break it. Probably it probably involves both. I think it's this inner dialogue that we have of like, we're supposed to be able to handle this. As a man, again, depending on my upbringing and again, what society throws at me, like almost like you shouldn't be emotional. You can handle tough things, and like a man just, keeps going.
You got this.
Yeah, you got this. Yeah, and there's value to that, to a point.
Correct.
To a point.
Yes.
Because, again, as men, like I truly believe like we should carry weight. But that doesn't mean we should be dysfunctional. That doesn't mean that we should be unhealthy.
Wow.
Correct.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And same thing, I look back at my early years in the fire service of if stuff bothered me, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this job. Like part of it is like you can see somebody's head off. Sorry for being graphic, but like, yeah, and you just deal with it and keep going. Like that's part of it.
Right.
So when those early things happened, and this is what I mean, like the fire service really helped me in other areas of my life realize that where they bothered me, it was like, it made me, well, are you supposed to be okay with that? Like, what if it is bothering you? Is there someone you can talk to, or are you just going to bury it? Are you? It forced me to grow, because that was the persona early on. I don't know if the police service has changed it all. Of like, that's part of it. If you have a problem with it, stop being a sissy.
Right.
You'd be like, what do you mean? Like, this is crazy what I just saw. Like, stop. And then you're like, okay, maybe I need to stop being a sissy with it. So again, it's that front of you should be able to handle this.
Right.
Like turn your emotion. How many times have you heard that? Turn your emotion off, bury it, leave the call at the call, which works a percentage of the time, but not all the time, man. Like there's stuff you see to where like it should affect you. If it doesn't, you should retire.
I mean, I remember as a patrolman, you go out you get a dead body call, either overdose or somebody just passed away or something tragic or something, a homicide, anything, any type of death, you might get one of those in Detroit, we saw it a lot more, but like in the city of Warren, in your area that you had to handle, you might get one a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But then when you become sergeant, you have to go to all of those.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget, and it's so bad, but this is when it clicked for me. And I had been on the job, 22 years. Yeah. And I got a call on an overdose, and I walked in. And as I walked in, the family was sitting crying on the couch, and, the gentleman was in the bathroom, and he was unfortunately not in a great position in the bathroom, and he was deceased. And I walked in and I looked at them and I go, I'm so sorry for your loss. Yeah. And then I go in the bathroom and I looked at it and I told the officer, we're good. Any foul play? Nope. It looks like an overdose. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as I'm walking out, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
And I got in the car, started drinking my coffee, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah, I don't even know those people.
Right. It's just something you say.
It's something. Yeah. And that's when it really hit me that that's what we've done in this career.
Oh, yeah. That's very true.
We lose. Yeah. We go to these accidents, and granted, there are the ones that you go to and you're like, whoa, that one hit me.
Yeah, that was
like the child deaths, different things like that. But you see so much of it. Mm-hmm. That you start being numb.
Yeah, that's very true. I guess I never thought about that.
You start being numb to it. Yeah. And unfortunately, then you leave and take the police hat off or the fire hat off, and then you're dealing with family or friends or going through something tragic, and you show no sympathy or empathy at all.
Yep.
Because
you're just going through.
This is just what it is.
What you do.
And then you start thinking about it and you're like, I am a horrible person.
Like, what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you that you can even one of the things, and I will tell you that I have failed. Mm-hmm. My wife, unfortunately, has gone through some tragic things in her life with family members. Yeah. And she has asked many times, and unfortunately, I didn't hear her. And there's been moments where I failed, where I'm watching a show and it's showing brutal beating or something like that. And unfortunately, because I'm just a dick.
Yeah. Okay.
And that I haven't looked at it and said, what does it matter? I'm just watching a show. Mm-hmm. But it does matter.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's us not recognizing when we take the police or the fire hat off, we still have to have empathy and sympathy, and we have to, you're supposed to have emotions.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's move a little bit into how do you maintain your spiritual peace after a traumatic shift? Now that you are as many years as you've done. Huh?
This is going to be a tough one.
Okay. When you walk from the shift that day, knowing what you know, having God first in your life, and yes.
Yeah.
How do you maintain your spiritual peace after that?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, we live in a sinful world to where sin devastates life at times. And that's not to say people that go through hard stuff bring it upon themselves, or it's just a reality, I think, of the world we live in. And like I always tell myself that there's moments you get mad at God, and I think that's okay to bring that to Him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And work through that. But like I don't know the grand picture. I don't know the background of people's lives. I don't know how something tragic could affect somebody else for the positive. And again, not implying like God causes traumatic things.
Right.
I'm not him, and I don't know the totality of everybody's life. And I think that's the biggest thing is like what positive could come out of this negative that's going to affect somebody possibly for eternity. I don't know. Something we'll tell family members. I'll tell a lot, especially if he was a Christian, like he followed God and he overdosed. He just couldn't shake it. Like, is he in hell? Like how? Like he? I always say, like, what if while he's, because I've battled with alcohol while following Jesus, like while if that push is going in, God forgive me, I don't want to do this anymore. Do we think God doesn't hear that? You know, we don't know.
Right.
I think a lot of it is like I tell to my kids all the time now too, but like don't put a period where there's a question mark. You don't know.
Ooh. Wow.
We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. So I think learning to get comfortable in that unknown.
Okay.
Because again, you want to, well, look at this guy did this and like live this. I mean, we start putting period, like I don't know the whole story, but in some way I can trust the one who does, that even in the midst of something that's god awful, somebody that dies of cancer, where they've been praying for 4 years for God to get rid of it.
Right.
And they still die a long, horrible death.
Yes.
I don't know I'm going to leave a question mark there.
Right.
I'm not going to put a period on it, because if I'm going to put a period on it, then it's final. And I don't want to start venturing off into somewhere. So yeah, short answer to a long blah, blah, blah I just said was, getting comfortable with, I don't know. I don't understand the totality of life, and only he does. And in some way, even if I don't agree with it at times, I can trust him that he does. So yeah, living, I think, in that tension, continuing to live in it.
Yes.
is the trick. And that's a lifelong thing, buddy. I don't think we ever get that figured out.
No.
Like, oh, well, God we don't know what he's up to.
No. Right.
Like, but we don't.
Correct.
We don't with things. So, and again, getting like, I'm a big proponent, like, God, why did this 2-year-old die in this car when this was going on? Like, they're 2.
Right.
Like, how can you let that happen?
Right.
I've been there before too.
Yeah.
And I think he's okay with us bringing that to him.
Yeah.
I really do. He knows that's on my heart. Why am I going to act like it's not there?
Correct.
And through those times, he's grown it, I think, within myself too. So the world's a mess.
It is.
The world's a mess, and it's hard to navigate that, I think, especially with faith, because that question comes up. God, why would you allow? God, why is this happening?
Right.
God, I don't. But again, I don't. I'm getting a snippet of a 30, 40, 50, maybe even beyond that year outcome of somebody's family, I don't know. I can't. At times it seems ignorant for me to sit here and be like, it's almost, it can almost be arrogant on my part to, well, why?
Right. Right.
And I think if you could give me like a snapshot for like down the road, and then it'd be like, oh, that's why. Okay. That even through that pain, like maybe that's the catalyst that was used to produce what needed to be produced. I don't know. I don't know is the short answer.
So I love it. One of the moments of why I love you.
Yeah.
So you're a dad.
Yep.
And you're a friend.
Yeah. Yep.
How do you use the Better Man tools to stay emotionally available for your kids when both jobs, you come home tired and cynical?
Yeah. Making it a priority. And I know that sounds super simple.
Right.
But like being very deliberate and intentional of, I'm coming home. Like I'll say to myself all the time, I'm coming home to my church. And that puts it into perspective of like, coming home isn't turning off all the switches and like, I mean, those days are valuable.
Right. Your family is there. You're coming home.
They are the most important thing.
Yes.
In the grand scheme of things, as much as I love the fire department, as much as I love Better Man and all the things at church, they pale in comparison to them. And I'm going to be judged based off my handling on them. That's the importance that God puts on it.
Yes.
Again, that isn't, when I say intentional, like I have to stop and be intentional with that or it won't happen.
Right.
Accountability we talked about has been big. Having guys in my life to be like, hey dude, how's fatherhood going? You spending as much time with your kids as you are at people at church?
Right.
You know, that's part of that intentionality because the two jobs naturally can pull you away if you're not careful.
Right.
And super aware of that it will. So, but again, that's like built into my repetition, like going to the gym.
Right.
Every day when I come home, you're coming home to your church. Sit down and talk with Faith.
Yes.
Sit down and talk, like go down. My son's 14, doesn't come out of his bedroom. Go down to his bedroom and sit on his bed with him and talk to him, even if it's for 5 minutes. You know, just that, those little things end up being the big things. Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Mm-hmm. We're going to pause for one more second for our sponsors.
Everybody.
We're going to take a quick pause for our sponsor, Valor Collective. For years, your life has been defined by the badge, the uniform, and the heavy lifting that happens beyond the four walls. You've stood the watch and held the line, but what happens when the shift is finally over? Valor Collective presents From the Badge to the Beach. They've built a nationwide network of elite agents who specialize in helping the heroes community find their version of paradise. Whether it's a coastal retreat, a mountain sanctuary, or just a quiet piece of land far from the sirens and the stress, they are the bridge to your next chapter. They understand that after a career of service, you aren't just looking for a house, you're looking for the peace you've earned. When you're ready to transition from the front lines to the shoreline, there is only one place to go, onerealmove.com. No matter where you're looking to plant your flag, Valor Collective has the recon and the reach to get you there. onerealmove.com. From the badge to the beach, because you've protected our world, now it's time to enjoy yours.
So I got a final question for you.
All right, buddy.
Okay. So you stood on both sides of the line as a firefighter, seeing life as its most fragile, and as a pastor, seeing it still fragility, but also at its most hopeful. For a man or a woman right now listening, and he feels like he's a great hero at work, but he's a stranger at home.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first step he needs to take to bridge that gap and start becoming that whole person that he needs to be, that he's meant to be?
Yeah. Yeah. First and foremost, coming to Jesus.
Yes.
I think that it is easy, I think military, police, fire, to where we talked about it some, like that is who I am. Mm-hmm. And as great as the jobs are, like I'm all in. I love my job. I do not wake up any morning like, oh, I don't want to go to work. Like, It's cool. Let's go to work. Like, wonder what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
As much value as there is in there, if that becomes your identity, it's going to fail you. It's going to fail you.
Yes.
Having your identity be rooted in Him first and foremost. Like I always say, people, there's a hole in us that's only meant to be filled by Him. And we try to take money, alcohol, drugs at times, job descriptions, CEOs, titles, and fill it. And there's a reason why it's never enough.
Right.
I need more. I need the next position. I need more money. If I had the right car, I need a bigger house, new wife. I need to have another kid. That'll make me, it's never going to fill it. So that's like the very start of it. And then just being conscious, like when you're coming home, like you do amazing things at work. Like not everybody can do what we do. And I don't mean that like, we're awesome. But like that we're gifted to be able to do this. And if you can do those there, like you can do it, like you can be at home, like open up. You know, what is more important? What kind of effort and excitement do you put into the job that you could do to your kids? Maybe that makes you feel vulnerable. Maybe that doesn't make you feel like the tough fireman or the tough cop, but like push into that. You know, you can do it at home. I think there's a divide of like, man, I'm killing it at work and doing all these, and you know, this car flipped and we cut him out after an hour and like we do these awesome things, and I go home and I can't even talk to my daughter. Or I come in, my wife's rah at me and stuff. You know, why?
Right.
Why? What can you control? And again, when you come home, be dad. When you come home, and you have to be intentional with it. It's not natural with what we do. I don't think it is. It's so easy, especially how long were your shifts? 8, 12 hours?
8 and 12 hours.
8 and 12, yeah, that's a long time.
Yes.
Mine's a day.
Yeah.
It's so easy to go to work. I still feel like you go to work and it's like it's your own little world.
Yes.
And everybody else is separate from it. And then you come back after shift and now you're stepping back into the real world, like realizing like you can and take the steps to like your home life can thrive. And the reason it might not be, I can talk for me in the back, is because it was out of balance. Again, my identity was a fireman and that was the top. Mm-hmm. And then dad was underneath, or husband was underneath. And whichever one was second is third. And they're going to feel that.
Yes.
They're going to feel that.
You know, God gave us a calling to be a hero.
Yeah, you are gifted to do that.
But God also gave us a calling.
A higher calling
To be a man, a father, a husband.
Yep.
That's the true calling.
Yeah.
And so...
You know a great start to that, Charlie? Like going home, if you realize that. I remember having the conversation with my wife at the time and my kids. Hey, I've messed up. Like I'm coming home with my fireman hat on. And like I realized, like for me, coming home and I'm barking.
Yeah.
And like orders and very solution based. And like my wife's trying to share with me and I'm not hearing emotions.
Yeah.
I'm hearing 1 + 1 = 2. So do this, and it equals 2. Like that will, do you think that would break down a wall pretty quick? Probably, especially with your kids.
Oh yeah.
Sorry guys, I came home and I'm exhausted from being up all night long and I need to shut down for a while.
Yeah.
And what does that say to them?
Right.
And again, it doesn't mean you're not tired, because Lord have mercy, man. You come home feel like a zombie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes, but at least like recognizing, calling out the elephant that might be in the room, I think is a great first step. Great first step, man. Yeah.
Jake, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
I really am excited, and I'm really happy that you were able to come and sit down with me. I love you, brother.
I love you too, man.
Jake Latson is a reminder that being a hero isn't a job title. It's a way of being. Mm-hmm. He shows us that you can be strong enough to carry a hose into a burning building and humble enough to lead a brother in prayer.
Yeah.
Whether you're behind the 4 walls of a fire station or the 4 walls of the church, the mission is the same. Stay whole, stay present, and never stop striving to be a better man.
Yeah.
This is Beyond the 4 Walls, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.